Naomi Harris stepped out of a modest sedan, adjusting the knit cap over her hair as a cool breeze brushed against her face. The late afternoon sun hung low in the sky, casting golden light across the parking lot of one of her own dealerships. This was a test not just for her employees, but for the values she had built her company on. She wanted to see how ordinary customers were treated when no one knew who she was. She took a deep breath and walked toward the entrance, her simple jeans and worn-out jacket blending her into the crowd. The automatic doors slid open and she stepped inside. The showroom gleamed with polished vehicles and the scent of new leather filled the air. Cells. Representatives dressed in sharp suits stood in clusters, chatting among themselves. Naomi lingered near the entrance, waiting to be noticed. Minutes past. Customers who arrived after her were immediately greeted by smiling staff members, ushered toward gleaming cars with enthusiasm, but Naomi remained invisible. No one approached her. She watched as a young couple dressed in designer clothes walked in. Within seconds, a salesman broke from his group and greeted them with a warm smile. He spoke to them with excitement, offering them refreshments before leading them toward a luxury SUV. Naomi wandered further inside, her fingers lightly brushing the hoods of cars. As she walked past, she stopped near a sleek mid-range sedan, pretending to examine it. A salesman glanced at her but quickly looked away, turning his attention back to his well-dressed clients. The message was clear: she did not look like someone worth their time. She sighed, reminding herself to be patient. She wanted to experience everything as an average customer. But just as she turned toward another section of the showroom, a hushed conversation caught her attention. The voices came from behind her, spoken in the casual tone of people who assumed they were unheard. Looks like she walked into the wrong place, one of them said with a snicker. No kidding, another voice added, dressed like that, probably just here to waste time. Bet she can't afford anything. The words hit Naomi like a slap. Her chest tightened and a familiar wave of disappointment settled over her. Despite her years of success, despite everything she had built, moments like these reminded her that people still judged others based on appearance alone. Taking a slow breath, she turned to see who had spoken. Two salesmen stood near the service desk, grinning at each other, unaware that the woman they had just insulted was their CEO. They continued chatting, their laughed light as if they had done nothing wrong. Naomi had heard enough. She walked toward the front desk where a receptionist finally noticed her. The young woman hesitated before offering a tight smile. Can I help you? She asked, her tone uncertain. Naomi returned a smile, though hers was calm and unwavering. Yes, I'd like to buy a car. The receptionist's eyebrows lifted slightly in surprise. Before she could respond, one of the salesmen who had been making fun of her stepped forward, clearly realizing he had to help since no one else would. His expression barely hid his skepticism. Sure, he said, forcing a polite tone. Do you have a specific model in mind? That one, Naomi said, pointing to the mid-range sedan she'd been inspecting earlier. The salesman hesitated. That's a great choice, he said slowly. Are you looking to finance or? I'll pay in full. Silence. The receptionist blinked. The salesman struggled to keep his professional demeanor, his doubt flickering across his face. Naomi reached into her bag and pulled out a business card. She handed it to him with a composed expression. He took it, glanced at it, and his face paled. His eyes darted back to hers, now wide with recognition. Mrs. Harris, he stammered, his confidence of operating. I had no idea. I know you didn't, she said, even ly. That's the problem. The weight of her words settled between them. The other salesman, the one who had made the initial comment, shifted uncomfortably. The receptionist looked down as if suddenly ashamed of the way she had hesitated before helping Naomi. Naomi exhaled, glancing around at the showroom, at the employees who had ignored her and the customers who had been treated like royalty. In Contrast every customer should feel valued when they walk through those doors, she said, her voice carrying through the space, not just the ones who
look the part. She could see the
realization dawning on their faces, the way they suddenly stood straighter, processing the weight of their action. She hoped this moment would stay with them, that they would remember the impact of their choices. Naomi completed the purchase, making sure to note every step of the experience. Then she left, determined to make changes within her company. It wasn't enough to have policies about respect and fairness. Her employees had to embody them. She would implement better training, stricter policies on customer service ethics, and ensure that no one who walked into one of her dealerships ever felt like she had today. As she drove her new car off the lot, Naomi felt a renewed sense of purpose. The battle for respect and dignity was ongoing, but she was in a position to make a difference, and she would. If this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to eye-opening stories. Let's reach 1,000 subscribers together and continue sharing stories that inspire change and celebrate resilience. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next chapter of empowerment.